Welcome to the competition of the elements. This time around, we have 3 elements competing to be the best. First up, we have Cobalt, the sneaky metal. This element was given its name because of how it poisoned miners, and they thought it was evil underground German goblins named Cobalt. Next up, we have an element named after a literal titan. Promethium is named after Prometheus, the titan who stole fire from the gods themselves. Lastly, we've got an element used for good. Chlorine is not only used to purify water, but many other products use chlorine in them as well. Now that you've met the competition, who are you rooting for? With that out of the way, let's begin the competition of the elements. Before we begin round 1, let's award a point to each element for their awesome names. And finally, let's begin with round 1, properties. So Cobalt and Promethium are radioactive, so let's give them a point for that. Chlorine, on the other hand, is toxic, so it gets a point as well. And for our last property, Cobalt is ferromagnetic, so it takes the lead as we end round 1. Alright, next up is round 2, uses. Cobalt is used to make blue glass due to the color it makes the glass, which is known as cobalt blue. But it's also used in jet engines and stainless steel due to its heat resistance. Some radioactive isotopes can actually be used in gamma rays to help treat cancer. Promethium only clocks in at having 3 uses, being luminous paint, nuclear batteries, and pacemakers, which are devices used for people with heart problems. Chlorine can be used in plastics, dyes, textiles, medicines, and paper products. And, as we all know, it's used to clean pools as well. With that, we conclude round 2 with chlorine taking the lead. Next up, round 3, cool facts. Cobalt was the first prehistoric metal discovered, and it was named for the shade of blue that it makes glass into. Promethium is the only synthetic element in the lanthanide series, and it used to be the last element in the lanthanide series for quite a while. Chlorine is lagging behind a little bit with only one cool fact, and that would be that chlorine is lethal. Alright, looks like it's a tie between Cobalt and Chlorine right now. Let's see if Promethium can catch up. For our final round, we've got all the sciencey stuff for you. First up is Cobalt, with its Aufbau diagram and electron configuration. There's its Bohr model showing the electrons it has. We've got the Lewis dot diagram showing valence electrons, and finally the nuclide diagram of the most common isotope. Now for Promethium, we've got the models again, but different. Aufbau, electron configuration, Bohr model, Lewis dot diagram, and nuclide representation. Once again, Chlorine has its models too. Again, the Aufbau, configuration, Bohr, dot diagram, and nuclide are all present. Now for some bonus points. We've got each element's state of matter. Cobalt is a solid, Promethium is synthetic, and Chlorine is a gas. Finally, there are some cool trends in the periodic table. For metals, the further left and down you go, the more reactive they are. Because of that, Promethium gets a bonus point as the most reactive metal. On the contrary, nonmetals are more reactive the further right and higher they are. This makes Chlorine our most reactive nonmetal, so let's give it a bonus point. The trends you see are due to 3 contributors. The first being atomic radius, the second, electronegativity, and third, ionization energy. Now, finally, we have given out all the points. It is time to announce the winner of this competition of the elements. In third place, we have Promethium with 14 points. In second, Cobalt with 15 points. And taking first place, Chlorine with a total of 16 points. Thanks for joining us today, and I'll see you next time on the competition of the elements.